I will give you $1 million cash money if you can tell me what song I'm about to start singing.
Oh, boy. Oh, I have to guess before you sing.
Yes.
You already have...
It's related to one of the topics. One lyric is related to one of the topics we're talking about today.
Riptide?
When you're staring at a demigod, what can I say except you're welcome?
The song at the end of the Percy Jackson trailer was that...
Is Dwayne Jock?
Coming down to the riptide, taking away to the dark. You know that Vance Joy song? From
You're
like years
saying
ago?
this was in the film I watched?
No, the Percy Jackson trailer.
Really?
Yes, it was a dramatic-ass rendition of that song.
We have a lot to talk about, it sounds like.
It was like, it goes like this, right? It's like, at the end of it, it's like, coming down to the riptide. That's the only snippet we got.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
That was bad on purpose, by the way. I didn't know.
Well, I was unaware regardless. That's
I just heard them say riptide, and at first, in my head, I was like, couldn't be. So I was like, I don't know what song that is, but it says riptide.
Yeah,
and then everyone's like, that's Vance Joy's Riptide dramatized. I'm like, Riptide Percy Jackson's version? That's so exciting.
Wow. Does it bother you if watching, or you, Cam, if I hold it like this a little bit?
No.
And I want to point out, if you guys are watching, you see something on my finger.
He has a wart, you guys.
Yeah, but it's not. This is like because I went to the dermatologist today and they like put that frozen stuff on it, and it's gonna like fall off. Yeah, it's really not that gross.
Icky.
It's not that bad.
Ew.
Yeah, foul.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing. I had like a literal infestation on my face at the beginning of this year. So who am I to make fun of one singular wart on your finger?
You actually did. Yeah,
I had like a literal bacterial infection on my face, like straight up. That's what it was.
I have had these before, so it's nothing new. It's just
no. Everyone.
I wish when you went there they could just cut it off immediately.
You would bleed a lot, and it would scab and scar.
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
I don't know that. What is that?
It's another topical reference. We were talking about DC. So I've referenced 2/3.
2 of the 3 Ds.
2 of the 3 Ds. I'm trying to see how I can naturally get the other in before we roll the intro. Or the intro may have already rolled.
It might have already rolled.
Probably. Isn't it crazy how we got 3 DC movies this year, and one of them had Rachel Zegler in them? It was Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Nice work. Right. Very good. Very good.
There you go.
Okay, so if you can't tell by the title of this podcast episode, it's a couple of topics, but they all start with D's because I had this idea when I rolled out of bed this morning. I was like, brain blast. DC.
Good.
Demigods. And Disney Princesses. In that order.
Yeah, it's honestly a very Guy Fieri of you. Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I don't know who that is.
Damn.
Is that the guy with the white spiky hair?
I'm Guy Fieri, and I'm rolling out looking for America's greatest diners, drive-ins, and dives. It's like a Food Network show that's honestly quality late night entertainment, especially for like on the road at a hotel.
I see the vision.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
So to start off, we're going to talk about DC.
Okay.
Specifically, well, actually, okay, before we do this, I just want to point out a fourth Easter egg D.
A fourth D.
In the background.
Oh, okay.
I put the picture back there so that I could talk about it because he doesn't fit into the podcast episode, but at all. What are you doing? Stop covering
now
it
it's
up.
me and you. No, I'm kidding.
I met Daniel Sharman a couple days ago, like 2 days ago? 2 days ago on Sunday at a con in Georgia called the Always and Forever Con. And probably 99% of you at home right now are like, who is that? Who is that? I'm going to tell you exactly who it is. He is the love of my life besides Chris. You're number one. First and foremost.
I was going to say, do you want to give your top 10? Because he's in the top 10, but he's not.
He's top 5.
He's number 2, supposedly.
He is.
You and another Jenna confirmed.
Literally been.
But he's number 2.
For some reason, everyone's shocked by this, and I think the reason is because...
I'll tell you why, but go ahead.
I'll tell you why right now.
Okay.
It's because I don't talk about him to everyone else as much.
Correct.
But Jenna knows because Jenna's seen Teen Wolf. If I talk to you about Daniel Sharman or Isaac Leahy, you're going to be like, what are you saying to me right now?
Yes.
You're not going to know anything I'm saying. Jenna knows him. So she gets it. So I talked to her about it. That's why she understands and knows that he's number 2. I'm not going to talk to you about Daniel or Isaac Leahy because you don't know who that is.
Correct.
If you watch Teen Wolf, you'd get it.
Fair. For me, though, I've just never seen anything he's in. That's why I'm like 2. But I'm exposed to Stranger Things, Daredevil, Spider-Man, The Winter Soldier. I see all those things, and I'm like, so I see your reactions to those characters and celebrities. That's why with Daniel Sharman, I'm like, I don't think you're a liar. I'm not calling you a liar or anything. Clearly, there's some admiration for the man. And clearly, I have a lot of admiration for you for going to the con.
Sticking with me and going to that
However, yeah, it's crazy that he is too, but at the same time, it does make sense, I guess. You're right. I haven't seen Teen Wolf. I haven't seen the originals. I haven't watched Medici. I haven't watched
Which you
Cursed.
should. Medici's like, you would like it. He's fantastic. Sean Bean is in Medici. It's a great show.
Is
really
Richard
is.
Madden in Medici?
He's in season 1. That's kind of honestly 2 different shows. The first season of the show doesn't really have much to do with seasons 2 and 3. There's Medici.
Yeah.
And then seasons 2 and 3 are Medici the Magnificent Part 1 and Medici the Magnificent Part 2.
So it's like
magicians. No. It's like real people
oh, no,
in like
it's not
history.
like The Prestige. Like it's not like a period piece about magicians competing. That's my interpretation of that.
No, it's about he plays Lorenzo de Medici, which is a real life.
That's a magician's name.
Nope, that is a real life person who ran
That's one
Florence.
half of a dueling
nope,
magician.
that is a real person who was in charge of Florence for a while. Okay. And all the actors in it are super good. Sean Bean's in it.
I'll watch anything with Sean Bean, but now that I know he's in the show, A, he's dead, B, he's a villain. Am I right? I'm just saying. I mean, Sean Bean's in something, 90% chance he's a villain, 97% chance he's going to die.
Yeah.
His one good role is Ned Stark, like where he's a good person.
I forget that that's
Everything
him.
else I've seen him in, he is a piece of shit.
I forget that that's him because that's also his only role where he's like not blonde.
Well, I take that back. He's Boromir. He does die in that, however. But he is a good person he's a good person in that.
Well, he kind of is a little bit of an asshole for a little bit of the movie, though.
It's the temptation of the ring.
I guess. But
which D are we starting with?
Anyway, all this to say, how badly?
I'm coming home this summer.
I know. I was gonna say, how badly do you want to sing? All that to say, I met Daniel Sharman. He is in Teen Wolf. He's in the originals. He's in Medici. He's also in this really god-awful show called Cursed, but I watch it with pretty much it because it's really funny tracks.
Hannah Baker.
The show had the potential to actually be pretty good, but then they stopped it after season 1, so depressing. But he does have a man bun in the show, so I will watch it. He's great. He's a much smaller actor. Like, he does mostly TV and then like a lot of individual projects, I guess you could say.
I was astounded that he didn't really have a big crowd of people coming to see him at this convention we went to.
I mean, he's only in the con was specifically for the originals, and he's only in like 10 episodes of the show. So, but I love him. I adore him so much. Jenna is listening right now, and she can confirm. He when I met Isaac Leahy, he tipped Bucky's crown like for a hot minute. Bucky has never been threatened in the way that he was threatened when Isaac Leahy came into my life. So serious. Isaac and Eddie are the only 2 people
I was about to say Eddie,
Isaac and Eddie. Okay, I met Isaac before I met Eddie. I started Teen Wolf like 2 years ago. Took a break after Isaac left. But Isaac and Eddie are the only 2 people that have tipped Bucky's crown in the slightest. Okay. He remains number 1. The crown is still there, but they nudged it a little bit. I'm going to be honest. And Isaac, it was crazy. It was a crazy time to be alive.
Will anyone ever top Bucky?
No. If Isaac and Eddie haven't, no one will. It's just not possible.
You never know.
No, I know. I'm 1,000% confident in the fact that no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
We'll see.
Okay. Sure. Well, yeah, we'll see. But meeting him was really fun. Kind of upset that I didn't get his autograph at the end of the day, but the con was really unorganized. It was their first year of the con, so what else would you expect from a con's first year? But other than that, meeting him was super great, and I love him to death. That's the first D we're talking about. That's just not in the title of the podcast.
That's the bonus D.
Bonus D. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so the first actual topic that we're talking about is DC.
This is true.
Specifically Blue Beetle.
Yep.
Because that is a movie that has come out recently.
This is true.
Now, Chris has some YouTube videos talking about Blue Beetle. We've got an out of theater reaction and a review, correct?
Yes.
Am I in the out of theater reaction? I am.
You are.
Not in the review, though.
You were not in the review.
Not in the review. So you guys can go check that out. If you want his super in-depth thoughts, we're going to roll over our quick thoughts on the movie and our quick issues with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say anything first and foremost? I've been talking for a minute.
Sure. I think Blue Beetle is extremely average at best.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being polite. I don't have any issues with Xolo's performance. Xolo is the heart and soul of this movie. In fact, I am rooting for him to get even bigger roles after this because he's not only great in Cobra Kai, but he's just a great dude.
Yeah.
Whether that's listening to his podcast, meeting him at MegaCon was super cool. And again, I feel bad that I have to sit here and even say anything about the movie in a negative light because it's just the way I feel. And I want to make it crystal clear it has nothing to do with his performance at all. The movie, the way I've described it, and I want to elaborate here since this is a podcast setting.
Go for it.
People say, and this is going to be morbid, but it'll come back around.
All right.
People say when you die, your life flashes before your eyes.
Okay. Yeah.
Every memory.
Yeah.
From when you were like first, sentient, I guess, to the moment you die.
Yeah.
When this movie started and it plays out with a very generic villain opening and then into the opening credits, as those opening credits were going, in a way, Blue Beetle flashed before my eyes. I saw everything happening. And then when the movie played out, I was like, I'm not surprised here, not surprised here. No spoilers, but this character's fate. I can kind of see what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
This villain. Yep. It's just the whole entire movie was laid out, and my friend Trevor made a very good point.
Oh, what did Trevor say?
He said this.
Shout out, Trevor.
It's almost like there was a template made for this movie, and they were like, Blue Beetle, you just have to fill in the pieces.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And that rings true to the point I was making regarding how generic it is. I've seen everything in this movie hundreds of times in other comic book films. It's not doing anything new. And I've seen the take that it is a fresh origin story. I strongly disagree. If you have some pushback, I'd love to hear your thoughts there. The one standout to me besides Xolo's performance was the family dynamic. Even then, it frustrated me how they ended up almost stealing the show from Blue Beetle himself.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. I'm going to read my Letterboxd review.
Please.
I love my Letterboxd reviews. They're always so funny to me. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
So you hated it.
No, I liked
I'm just
it.
trying to act like people
I
online.
said, I really enjoyed this movie. Xolo Maridueña is clearly the heart of this movie. He's such a charming actor, and he really brings the character of Jaime to life. I also adored the supporting cast of this movie, from George Lopez to Bruna, how do you say her last name?
Show me it, and I'll try and pronounce it. I don't know.
The girl who plays the love interest. Bruna. I'll just call her Bruna. From George Lopez
We don't talk about Bruna.
From George Lopez to Bruna, I found myself laughing and crying multiple times. They did a great job at adding to the movie while also elevating Xolo as Jaime. My biggest issue with this movie is the lack of a compelling villain. It was yet another incredibly stereotypical villain that we've seen time and time again. In every superhero movie, I would have loved for them to go another direction and maybe make the villain a little more enticing. However, the family element of this film definitely helps make up for what the movie lacks in the villain department. You should definitely go see Blue Beetle in theaters. That being said, I liked Xolo. I liked the family. I liked the supporting cast. I do agree with your take of the family kind of taking away from him a little bit, at least by the end of the movie. It's interesting in a way because people will watch Homecoming and they'll be like, oh, Iron Man just bails Spider-Man out of all of his issues.
Which is funny because he doesn't.
Well, it's not that he does or doesn't.
I'll go ahead and
It's not that he does or doesn't. When Spider-Man needs help in Homecoming, Iron Man's there multiple times, correct? And the same thing reigns true in Blue Beetle. And I guess people don't have an issue with it because it's his blood family that is saving him, I guess. Like his grandma coming in, his sister, his girlfriend, ? And it's like...
The thing is, to me, is you've got, in Homecoming, you've got 2 scenes where Tony sort of saves him. Number 1, it's early on in the movie when he rescues him from the water, and it's not even him. And then later on, the ferry scene, Tony saves him. After that moment when Tony saves him, Tony is like, if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it at all. Take the suit away from him. Then in the 3rd act, it's all on Peter's shoulders to save
and
him.
that was like the opposite for this one.
And then in Blue Beetle, it was like...
The 3rd act...
his family come like... his family comes in a moment, and like I know it's like the theater was laughing. I did not like this. I don't care when the grandma's using like the death machine from Call of Duty to like mow down everybody.
I thought
I'm
that
like,
was funny.
you know, they could have done like a Daredevil hallway scene with Blue Beetle there, where he just solos
That would have
everybody.
been cooler.
That would have been a million times better.
Yeah, I think
It was played off for a joke instead. I don't want to see the grandma shoot them up.
which is interesting. It's interesting that it feels like there was too much humor in a DC movie, because I feel like normally DC is more gritty and dark and has less
That's fair.
humor.
Yeah. It wasn't, that joke just missed for me, and a lot of the humor did miss, but at the same time there were jokes that worked.
Yeah.
Like George Lopez is just naturally funny. And so any line Rudy said, his character was pretty great.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Like when his truck gets messed up and you see him like cussing outside, like I was like, that's something I would,
Yeah.
be like doing.
For sure.
The
The villain was just Whiplash.
God awful.
The villain was literally just Whiplash. Wasn't it?
villain was literally yes. One of the villains. The main villain
Yeah.
was
I was talking.
who's the main villain comparable to?
The-
The woman Susan Sarandon?
My queen.
Who is she comparable to? Like, I'm trying to think in the MCU. Alexander Pierce, maybe, from The Winter Soldier, but even then, no. Like, he's Robert Redford.
Kind of, maybe, yeah.
Just like the like, not the actual physical threat,
Like the brain behind it.
Yes, the behind the scenes.
She's the brain and he's the muscle.
Correct.
But like, I was texting Drew after he saw Blue Beetle and he's like, what'd you think? And I told him, I was like, I liked the movie, really weak villain though. And he said, which one? I was like, what do you mean? Both. They both sucked. Respectfully. Like, showing me a flashback scene for a villain at the end of a movie, what do you think that's going to do for me? Nothing.
I hated that.
He was Whiplash.
I hated that.
He was Whiplash mixed with Sandman, is what he was. Looking at the locket, like
You're
I
so
was
right.
like, that's literally Sandman.
Yes, you're so right. Because the thing that those two villains you just named, which get right, is A, they give you a flashback early to make
That's
you feel
what-
for him, which is what they should have done.
Should have done.
And then with Whiplash is a pretty bad villain, but at least in the opening of the movie, they give him like some backstory about how Tony Stark screwed over his family. It was really montage through, but nonetheless, this dude is a body. He's like a jacked dude for the entire movie, and then at the very end, they're like, "Oh, wait, he has a tragic past. Don't hurt him."
One thing that I really, really, really don't get about the villain, I get them having the villain say this because they wanted to make this point for the movie when he's beating up Jaime and he's like, "Your family will like be your weakness." So then Jaime can be like, "No, my family's what makes me strong." Whatever. He shouldn't have been the one saying that if at the end of the movie we're going to be like, actually, he has a really sad backstory with his family and he cares a lot about his family. That's why he carries around a locket. The lady, what's her name again?
Susan Sarandon.
Susan
is what I'm gonna call
Sarandon.
her. Character's name is not memorable.
Susan Sarandon should have been the one that at some point says to Jaime, your family is your weakness, because she doesn't give a crap about family. We see that in her character. She doesn't care about family. She should have been the one saying that. And the guy is like, I don't agree. And then at the end of the movie, Jaime uses the guy's family to get him to turn on her because he doesn't agree with the whole your family is what makes you weak. Him saying that to Jaime makes no sense when the whole turning point of his villain is family. No sense. I didn't like it. It was just like, you have the wrong person saying that line.
I kind of agree. I just don't even... A lot of the moments this movie thought were going to be super impactful regarding family just missed the mark for me because I didn't really care. Or I saw it coming from a mile away. And they pulled an Uncle Ben in a way, but and I don't know. I guess we're kind of getting into spoiler, but I don't really care. I think A, not a lot of people saw the movie, and B,
If you didn't see the movie by now, how badly do you care?
Exactly. Certain character death, I won't say who. The moment that character
Was introduced
and revealed to have a medical issue, if you did not know that character was going to die, you missed.
Yeah.
You weren't paying attention.
I still did cry just because I'm a weak little baby and I cry at anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
A breeze in the wind could make me cry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They ripped off a Deadpool 2 scene later. Literally, my big issue with this movie is they repurposed like multiple iconic superhero scenes from other movies and took them. Number one, the final fight was literally the end of Iron Man 2 with like the whip thing. That's literally Whiplash's suit. Blue Beetle's powers is pretty much out of Iron Man the first time he uses the suit.
A little bit of Iron Spider with the...
Yeah. Now, here's the one from Deadpool 2 when Jaime visits a certain someone in like this afterlife scene. He's like,
Gotcha.
it's not your time. You got to go back. Literally Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
with Vanessa, I believe.
Yes,
Yes,
her name's
Vanessa. I'm confused because there's a Vanessa in Kingpin's Vanessa and his
Right,
Vanessa.
right. Two different
But yeah,
Vanessas.
she's basically like, not yet, not your time. You
Yeah.
it's like we've seen this. Black Panther as well.
Black Panther does that so much better
Yeah.
than any movie ever
Black Panther,
has.
the
'cause
first
it's
one
not
when he sees
some
his father. Beautiful scene.
beautiful scene.
And that it's just we have seen this multiple times now.
Yeah.
So as much as I wanted to be moved, I was like, I can't. We've seen this before.
Yeah. And then like the suit is dope visually, right? Blue Beetle suit, but like
It is one of the cooler suits we've seen.
It's interesting.
That's one of the coolest parts of the movie.
people will complain about Karen, but they won't complain about the AI in Blue Beetle suit.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Karen Wheeler for a second.
No,
I was like, wait a second.
Come on, get with it.
No, yeah, from Spider-Man.
It's like the same thing. She like takes over the suit and and does everything almost.
Blue
for
Beetle's
Jaime.
pretty much Venom.
Oh, I haven't seen Venom, so I wouldn't.
It's like a symbiote takes over Venom.
Right,
and
gotcha. I know that
it's
much.
it can talk. There's points in the movie where Venom's like, I'm taking over.
Yeah, okay.
So yet another superhero movie
then
that this one just quarter.
What I don't get is again at the end of the film when he's getting beat up, the little AI voice is like, "Sorry, Jaime, I can't protect you anymore." Why? No, that's explained to me why that can't. That's whatever. Still a fine movie though. You should definitely still go see it.
I'm gonna be honest. No.
Oh.
I don't think you should see the movie in theaters unless you are a massive DC fan. I honestly cannot tell you to go spend your money on it. I'm
okay.
not going to bullshit you. I'm going to be honest. I love Sholo and I do wish success for the movie, but I mean at this point I'm going to shoot you all straight. It'll be on Max by the end of September.
Okay.
I would be shocked if come October it'll be on Max, which is HBO Max, and you can watch it for free. Technically free there.
Fair enough.
Originally, it was going to go to HBO, so it makes sense.
Really? Like not even
Yes.
theaters?
Nope.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's done bad at the
They
box
filmed
office.
this a while back. You know that. Like they filmed this. I want to say I saw an interview with Sholo. I damn near want to say they filmed it before Cobra Kai season 5, like in between.
He looks so much older in this.
Yeah,
though.
I think it was a while ago. He filmed it a while ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, or they like had to come back or something. But it was damn near like 2020. They filmed it almost.
It's doing bad at the box office, correct?
Supremely bad.
Do you think
25 million domestic opening weekend?
Isn't it like not out in theaters for certain places though?
I'm not sure.
I saw that it doesn't come out till like September something for some people.
Regardless,
If you don't want to hold this up, you can just tighten this knob and it'll keep
I
it
was
up.
trying to figure that out. Oh, cool. Thank you.
He's sitting like this the whole time.
Excuse me. Regardless, it'd be lucky to crack 100 million worldwide.
Which makes me sad. I really wanted it to do better.
No,
than
I did
Flash.
too. I'm not rooting for it to fail at all.
Not at all.
I really wanted it to succeed, and it's just not going to. But the writing was on the wall. It comes out in August, which is a dead zone for movies. DC's track record, they haven't had a win in a long time.
And then the strike on top of all
And the
that.
strike with no promotion from Sholo or the other
Yeah.
actors.
Tragic.
It was plus a new character.
Yeah.
Look at Marvel, even like Eternals underperformed. New character. So
Yeah. Which is sad.
a lot of things going adding up to work against it.
How do you feel about the future of DC? You know a bit more about it than I do. I'm not the biggest DC avid watcher. I do think, though, I want to watch the Superman TV show.
Interesting. The animated one?
I love Jack Quaid.
I know
so.
you do. I think the DCU, which is now their cinematic universe,
That's what it's called?
it's in the right hands, but it's going to take a long time to get trust back from audiences.
Yeah.
And if Superman Legacy bombs, then they're up Schitt's Creek,
I think that
which it honestly
If a
will
movie-
underperform.
if a-
I'm going to, again, be honest. It's
if a
gonna
DC
underperform.
movie that involves Superman or Batman in the promo, if that movie bombs, then DC's like just not. Because I feel like a lot of people don't care about a DC movie unless it involves Batman or Superman.
I got a comment the other day on one of my reacting to your DC hot takes video where someone said, hot take, the only reason I remotely care about about DC is because of Batman.
Like Batman in general or Batman Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Just the character. Like
Yeah.
if Batman's not involved, and I said valid.
That's fair. I think they would benefit from having Batman and Superman be a sort of Iron Man, Captain America
That's
type
exactly
thing for
what
the
they
DCU,
are.
where they gotta be popping up every once in a while. Like you gotta have them in a lot of things.
It's not James Gunn's fault that DC was mismanaged for so damn long, but at the end of the day, Batman and Superman were their Iron Man and Captain America, and they fumbled the bag.
Bad. Yeah.
but we're getting Elseworlds Batman, Elseworlds Joker with Pattinson and with
Such a
Joaquin.
confusing
And
ass
that's
universe.
where they'll thrive. Those will succeed. Those will both. Joker 2 will do close to $1 billion. The first one did $1 billion. And the Batman 2 will do about 800 to 900 million. So those two, the Elseworlds, they need to go all in on that. The cinematic universe, whatever.
Yeah. Moving on from our first D and into our second D, the better D, if you will. Demigods, i.e. Percy Jackson. We got a trailer. What was it, on the 18th?
Did we, though?
It was a teaser trailer. Okay. It was a teaser trailer. Our second teaser trailer. We got it on the 18th for Percy's birthday. Happy birthday, Percy Jackson. Forever 17.
Can we tell the story, or do you want to tell the story?
Tell a story from your perspective,
Okay.
and then I'll tell a story from my perspective.
I'm doing my thing as I do, sitting at my desk, editing
Yeah.
something. I'm on my phone on Twitter, and I get a notification at noon that a Percy Jackson trailer dropped. So I immediately clicked on the tweet. It was only 30 seconds, but then I immediately went to FaceTime Cam.
Yeah.
And she sent me straight to voicemail, so I texted her Percy Jackson teaser trailer.
Yeah.
And then you said, "What's up?" almost simultaneously.
Yeah.
And
Which
then
is why
I
didn't
said
see.
33 seconds. I said the following text, 33 seconds, December 20th. And then what was the last one? It was like, watch it now or something. Or I said,
Something about excitement. I don't know.
yeah, I said like,
Some sort of
I'm so
excitement.
hyped. It actually looks
Right.
good. And then you were like, what?
I was like, am I supposed to know what that is? Here's my side of the story.
I was literally about to go off.
Pause on his
It
side of the
triggered
story.
me.
Here's my side of the story. So I went to the grocery store, right? So I'm literally parking. I'm turning the wheel of my car as you're FaceTiming me. So I hit the power button twice so that you go straight to voicemail. Park the car, and I get on my phone and text you, I'm at the grocery store. What's up? And as I send that, I'm also getting out of the car because I'm a multitasker. And as I had sent what's up, you had sent Percy Jackson. So then I'm walking towards the grocery store. And after I cross the street, I then look at my phone because I'm not going to get hit by a car. And I just see my text of what's up. So in my head, you haven't sent anything before that, right? Because I didn't see you send something simultaneously. So I just see 33 seconds, December 20th, I'm so hyped. And I think that you're talking about a show called 33 Seconds that's coming out in December. And I'm like, am I supposed to know what the fuck you're talking about right now? Because I don't. And you were like, what do you mean, Percy Jackson? And I was like, and as you sent that, I saw your text that said Percy Jackson. And I was like, oh, my God. And then I walk into Kroger, our grocery store, and I kind of just like find a corner and I sit down for a second.
And you watched it, right?
Yeah. And then I called Chris and I was crying on aisle 5 because it was just so beautiful. It was so good.
Yeah.
I have a damn near 30-minute video on my YouTube channel breaking down the 30-second teaser trailer. And you can go watch that for more of my in-depth analysis of it. But long story short, it was great. I can't wait for the day we finally get an actual trailer. That'll just
Well, the
be
best
really
part
nice.
about that was that it's coming out this year.
Yes.
A random number's calling you. You can decline it if you want, or let it
I've
go to
been
voicemail.
getting, that's the, I'm not even kidding.
I've
like
got a few today as well from telemarketers.
The 17th spam call I've gotten today. I had to call my mom about it to like ask her what was wrong. Cause I answered some of them because one of them said healthcare and I was like, huh? And the other one was like one that had happened constantly. So I was like, maybe this isn't a spam call because like it keeps happening. One
I
was
never
about
answer unless they text or leave a voicemail.
I normally don't answer it, but I answered one and it was about student loans. And then I was like, can you call me back tomorrow? And then they hung up. So I was like, okay, I don't know what that was. And then I got another one that I answered when it said healthcare. And it was like something about my healthcare application. So then I hung up and I called my mom. I was like, unless you're applying for me to get healthcare somewhere that I don't know about, like what's going on? She was like, you just graduated college. So your phone number is probably going to get put on a lot of spam lists. It just happens. I was like, but it's been a lot of them today. Like a lot.
I've never answered a call that's not from a number I know. Unless if they need me, they'll leave a voicemail or text.
I guess, but I just sometimes I answer because you never know. I have a lot of doctors that call me, so
They'll leave something,
because
though,
I have
if
a lot of
it's
ailments.
urgent. They'll leave a message.
I know, but I just sue me, okay? I answer just to make sure. Sue me for being careful.
You can be careful, but I think it's less careful to
If
answer.
it said healthcare, I'm gonna answer it because I have issues. And if it's something I don't know, I'm gonna hang up and then block the number. Like I don't understand why that's a bad thing.
Okay.
But you know what? demigods don't have technology because it attracts monsters. So maybe that's what I need to do.
They have iPod touches. What are you
No,
talking
they
about?
don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
To behead Medusa.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I've seen the movie. I know Percy Jackson better than you, so don't even try me.
Guys, this is going to be the last episode of the Unusual Couple podcast. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I've seen the film. What do you want me to do?
It's inaccurate.
I know. Just fucking with you.
Inaccurate. But regardless. Teaser trailer came out. We still don't have a trailer. I don't know if... Did you watch my YouTube video at all?
No, a second, love.
Wow. Dick.
You're one to talk.
You post a YouTube video every day and you expect me to watch it every day. I post one once a month.
I'm not watching your YouTube videos just like you're not watching mine, and that's totally fine. We're
Well,
talking about this now. That's what matters.
I talked about in my YouTube video about how... Is it bothering you that your thing keeps falling down?
Yes, but it's not a
Just
deterrent. So we're
try
gonna continue
tightening it to the
going.
right while I talk.
Okay.
Is that not the left?
That was the way when I tightened it originally. It was the way I'm turning it now.
Okay.
Right now, it's tighter than a drum,
Okay.
so it should be good.
In my YouTube video, I talked about how we now have 2 teaser trailers and we have not once yet seen somebody talk. We have voiceovers. We have a voiceover from Sally Jackson, and we have a voiceover in the first one from Percy Jackson, but we haven't seen a clip.
I just realized something, but keep going.
We haven't seen a clip where someone talks, like on screen talking to somebody. It's just been voiceovers. What did you just realize?
I think I put 2 things together. Number 1, I forgot Lynn is in this, and number 2, were you singing Hamilton earlier in reference to his role when you said a line?
When I said anyway, all this to say,
Yeah.
I was not referencing his role.
But now we can
Hermes.
retcon it and say you were.
Sure, we can. I was not though. And that's another good point that
We haven't seen him either in the trailer, which is horseshit.
we haven't, and I want to desperately, but I think the reason that we haven't seen him is because he's not in the first book, Hermes. So the fact that he's in the first season is something added. We don't know. Like Rick has been talking a lot about how he's going to be adding a bunch of stuff to the show. He's like the beauty. Nope, put your finger down. Oh, I touched the word. I'm fucking with you. Rick said that the beauty of making this TV show 10 years after the book has come out is that he now gets to add certain things into the show that are a lot of popular fan questions, a lot of things that people just like wonder about certain characters, and he can add things that he feels like benefits the storyline. So, i.e., one of those things is he thinks Hermes fits into the first book. Where? I don't know. I think maybe the Lotus scene. And then people, were making jokes that the Lotus scene is going to be like a musical now because Lynn's going to be in it.
I would not be mad about that.
But like, Chris, I want so badly to get a flashback scene of Sally Jackson and Poseidon, like to like show their relationship and like how it started, or just maybe like a montage of them being together before they have Percy. I want that so bad. Like you don't understand.
I'm gonna be real. The casting was so good for Zeus and Poseidon in the movie. I thought Poseidon was good. It's the boy from
Grey's
Anatomy.
Yeah.
He's kind of an Owen.
Yeah, his name is Owen.
He's
Correct.
kind of a real like hit or miss guy in that show from what I've seen.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And even Hades was fine. It was Steve Coogan.
No, yeah, all the casting in the movie is
Rosario Dawson.
The casting in the movie is all fine and dandy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think the casting in the show is going to be just as good, if not better. It's a bunch of nobodies.
Can I make a question?
Give or
here?
take a few
All
people.
Right. Can I ask a question here?
Go ahead.
For non-book readers, do you think, for non-book readers who watch the first Percy Jackson movie and that's all they have, is it like crazy of them to think it's actually an entertaining, decent movie?
No, not at all.
Because like I read the Lightning Thief book right before I went and saw it in theaters, and I didn't care that it was different at all. I was 11.
I think the movie...
And I enjoyed the movie, and I've honestly seen that movie almost 10 times.
Yeah, I think the movie is a fun movie. I like the movie as a movie. I don't like the movie as a Percy Jackson movie.
Fair.
That's what I think a lot of people say. That's what Walker says when people ask him if he likes the Percy Jackson movies. We just ignore Sea of Monsters. That's just not even in the conversation
That
right
movie
now.
was bad.
But the first Percy Jackson
So
movie
light 'em up.
is a fun movie. It's just not a Percy Jackson movie, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just not Percy Jackson.
I really
Unfortunately.
like Logan Lerman as Percy Jackson, though.
I like Logan Lerman, end of sentence.
Fair.
I love him to death.
Yeah. Well, name 5 products he's in. If you love him so much.
Percy Jackson.
Just being...
Percy Jackson, Sea of
I'm
Monsters.
just being that guy on TikTok.
Perks of being a wallflower.
Yeah. Bullet Train.
Solid. Oh, Bullet Train?
And Fury.
I don't know what that is.
It's a tank movie with a bunch of different... John Bernthal, Brad Pitt, Michael Pena,
Couldn't tell you.
Shia LaBeouf.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think the casting in this movie, the casting in this TV show is going to be spectacular. Because here's the thing. Yeah, the casting for Poseidon was fun in the movie. And the casting for Percy was fun in the movie. But the whole
Hoot.
thing...
He's in Hoot. With Brie Larson.
Oh my God.
And Tim Blake Nelson, yeah.
Forgot about that movie.
And Cody from He's Got Something Special. The blonde-haired from Hannah Montana.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Resume.
I forgot about that. The whole thing about Percy and his dad is that Percy and Poseidon are supposed to look very, very identical. Do they look identical in the movie? No, sir. Percy has brown hair, green eyes. Poseidon has red hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
And in the TV show, the casting is great. Great. They look like father and son straight up.
You talking about the casting just made me realize Sean Bean's coming up yet again, because Sean Bean is Zeus in the movie.
Yeah.
He's in everything, honestly.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
I love the way at the beginning he's like, I need this lightning bolt. Is it by the... He's like, by the
Winter
summer,
solstice.
By the winter solstice.
Or summer solstice.
Percy, I need the lightning bolt. It's
One
of
of the solstices.
Yeah.
So probably summer solstice because it happens during summer,
Yeah.
if I had to guess. However, we will be getting the TV show near the winter solstice
Near your birthday.
on my birthday. So it comes out on the 20th, and then the 3rd episode will be coming out on the 27th, which is my birthday.
2 at premiere. That seems to be the move. And you know what? It seems as though Disney Plus is moving towards nightly weeknight premiere times, because Ahsoka is getting 9 p.m.
Good.
Eastern. So
They
they can be
better.
more of an event. I think they'll do that with Percy Jackson.
They better, because
Yeah.
kids got to go to bed. You know
This
what I
is
mean? But overall, if you want to see like my full, really in-depth thoughts, like breaking down the trailer and all that jazz, you can do that on my YouTube channel. My most recent Percy Jackson video is that. I do talk about how we haven't seen Luke, though, in either of the 2 teaser trailers, which is crazy to me that we got to see a god first. We got to see Ares before we get to see Luke, like even just in passing, because Luke is vital to the whole entire 5-book like storyline. Like he's incredibly important, and I think it's crazy we haven't seen him yet, and so I hope they're saving him in like a badass shot for the actual trailer
Okay.
or something. Like I like we need to see him, and it's crazy that we haven't.
I have no comment, but I can say
Luke will be Lin-Manuel Miranda's son.
Yeah. Don't call me son.
That casting is also still good. Like all the father-son, father-daughter casting so far has been great.
Call me son one more time.
I need to see who they cast for Athena. They haven't done that yet, but they gotta.
I didn't even realize that.
Because she's not in the first book, so
am interested to see how the show turns out.
it's gonna be
I hope
perfect.
it can be a win for Disney Plus,
It
because
is.
they need one.
It's gonna be great. It's
They
gonna be
need
so
one.
good.
But Ahsoka seems to be one to topic for another time.
It's not a D, so we can't talk about it in this
I
episode,
know.
unfortunately. However, you do need to read the Percy Jackson book.
Reread.
Reread, but you haven't read it. If it's been 10 years, is it a reread or is it just a read?
It's a reread.
Well, you need to reread it.
If you'd seen a movie when you were 10, you'd still seen the movie.
You need to reread the book
I
by
will
December 20th.
Try to.
And you also
My book list is growing, honey.
You also need to read another book. Do you want to tell the audience what book you need to read?
I was about to go grab it and show them, but I don't want
It's
to.
over there.
Yeah, I'd take
Oh, I
down the
burped
whole
into the mic.
setup.
I'm so sorry.
You're not okay.
I meant to turn my head. I forgot.
Oh my god.
It's all the way over there.
It's called TB. What is the
TBO.
TBO?
SB.
TBOSB?
AS.
TB. Let's try this again. TB.
Oh.
TBOSABSS.
SBAS. TBO SBAS.
TBOSBAS.
Yes.
I can't say that again, but there you had it. There was my one take of it.
Say it out loud for real.
I was just making fun of how everything has. Is it called?
Because I'm not going to type out.
What is it called? An acronym?
I'm not
is it an acronym?
Yes, it is an acronym, and
you.
I'm not going to type out the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes every time I talk about that book. There's no way.
No,
in hell.
I know. It's just funny, and they do it for everything. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It's easier.
No, I know.
Save time.
Tefatois. That's what I call the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Tefatois. And no one knows what I'm ever talking about. Yeah, I probably sound like I have some kind of tick. But anyway, I do need to watch. I need to watch that book so that I can read the movie.
Correct. We actually have a bet.
That wrong on purpose, by the way.
We have a bet going between the two of us. It's a $10 bet, and I won't forget. We made a bet. You were like, "Oh, I can read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in a weekend." So that gives him 72 hours, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If when the clock strikes 12 on Sunday, he hasn't finished the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, he has to give me $10. Any weekend of his choosing. He can choose any weekend. I don't think you'll read it in a weekend. I don't think you're going to end up reading it at all.
What makes you think that?
3 months. Because you have only read one book in the entire... Well, I don't want to talk about high school because I can't remember if you read in high school or not. But in almost the 6.5 years that I've been dating you, I think you have read one book.
For leisure, correct. And that was this year.
Yes.
It was the Ralph Macchio book.
An autobiography. It was an autobiography.
It was a memoir.
Same diff.
Yeah, you're correct. I don't read for leisure.
Which is crazy.
This would be for YouTube. I would have to be like, this is so that I have a context of the movie. It's way more necessary, in my opinion, for me to read the Hunger Games book than The Lightning Thief.
I agree. But I think...
Like 10 times more necessary.
Obviously, you're going to read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes first because it comes out first.
Yeah.
And then...
I'll be honest with you. I'm not reading it in a weekend, but I will read it. I'll read it every night for 2 weeks. Like, if I do that, I read like for an hour in bed each night. Mm-hmm. That should take care of it, right? For 10 days? 5 times 2 is 10? No.
Yeah, no. You have to read more than an hour to finish it, I think.
We'll talk.
How fast do you read? What are you, Spencer Reed?
I'm a slow reader. Sometimes I reread. You know how I am with movies?
Yeah, then you're not doing it in 2 weeks. Okay. No.
I'm not a slow reader. I'm a middle of the road reader.
You just really like to soak up every word.
I'll put it this way. If I'm not into it, it might as well be reading a science textbook to me.
You got to do it though. Like you have to read the book.
Because when I read the Macchio one, I was so fascinated. I had just rewatched Cobra Kai with you, and I was like, okay, and it was just like I was picturing Ralph Macchio doing all this cool behind the scenes stuff in his journey. So if I don't like anyone in this book, if I don't feel,
I think you'll like Snow. I think you'll identify with Snow.
Jesus Christ.
Me and Jenna identify with Snow.
You do?
He's crazy. This is at the point in Snow's life when, well, he's
Outer Banks.
He's at the point in his life where he will think things about like the people that he's around, but he won't say it out loud. Mm-hmm. But because it's from Snow's perspective, we hear his thoughts, obviously. Yeah. So like he'll say something about somebody that he's like, this bitch is so fucking dumb. He doesn't actually say that, but that's just an example. And like reading it, I'd be like, he's so right. He's so right. Funny. That's basically he hates everybody. So fair. I identify with that.
That is fair. When I'm behind the wheel of a car, that's fair. I don't know the actor who's playing Snow.
Oh, I couldn't tell you his name off the top of my head.
But what's the main actress excuse me, what's the main character in the novel? The main
technically the main character is Snow.
Well,
Coriolanus Snow, by the way, is his real name. Is his name. Coriolanus. It pissed me off for a while.
I'm reading that as Cornelius when I read
yeah, I did that for a couple chapters and then I got over it. People call him Corio as a nickname, so I kind of just in my head when I read his name, I kind of just in my head go,
what if I just read Corey?
That's how I read his name in my head. Just so I can get over it faster.
You said Coriolanus?
No, Coriolanus.
Coriolanus.
Coriolanus. Coriolanus Snow.
That wasn't needed. Like that, like Suzanne didn't need to do that.
No, I know. Like you really could have named it. You really could have
Cornelius.
Named him. You could have named him Cornelius. It was right there, and she just refused to do it for some reason.
That's kind of extra. I'm not gonna lie.
And then we've got our girl Lucy Gray Baird. Lucy Gray, not just Lucy. Lucy Gray.
So her first name's hyphenated.
No.
So
no.
She has 2 first names.
Yes.
Or is it like her middle name is Gary?
Unclear.
Lucy, you said Gary or Gray?
Lucy Gray Baird.
Okay. Not Beard.
Nope. Unclear if that's her middle name, but she goes by Lucy Gray. Okay. If I catch you calling her Lucy, you're going to get hit. A light hit on the shoulder like that.
So Lucy Gray just like
Lucy Gray.
Wendy Lou Who or Cindy Lou Who.
Sure.
Lou Who, whatever the hell.
Sure.
What are they called again? The Who's down in Whoville.
Yes. Lucy Gray.
Cindy Lou Who. Lucy Gray Baird. Coriolanus.
Coriolanus.
I'm gonna read it as Corey, like an Irishman. Coriolanus.
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 And then we've got a couple other actors.
Peter Dinklage and Viola Davis. That's what I refer to them as when I watch
Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
And then Hunter Schafer, who's from Euphoria.
Oh, cool.
But
Rachel Zegler is playing Lucy Gray Baird.
regardless, the reason we're talking about the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes right now is because the third D of this podcast episode is Disney Princesses. This is like a little bit of a pop culture episode, dare I say, talking about the current events.
Yep. No games,
if you will. And are you surviving it?
Yeah, I'm just a little upset.
Okay, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be all right. Disney Princesses. If you exist on the internet in the form of TikTok or Twitter, you might have seen at some point in the past like 2 to 3 weeks, people absolutely wailing on Rachel Zegler for talking about Snow White. Have you been seeing this anywhere, or have you only been seeing it through me?
I see it a lot.
You see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we have vastly different For You pages.
Yeah.
Do you see it you don't go on Twitter all that much, so you're seeing it on TikTok?
I see it. Yeah, I see it a lot.
And you're seeing people stitch like 5 seconds of her talking?
Yeah.
Okay, let me break it down. Right, I'll
or
break
the
it down.
whole thing. I've seen video breakdowns of the whole thing.
I'll break it down for you right now. So here's basically what we have. First of all, we don't know diddly squat about Snow White, the Snow White movie. We don't know anything. We know what the title card looks like because we got that at D23. And we have a red carpet interview of Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot talking about the briefest plot points that they could ever give us for anything. Being like, yeah, in this movie, Snow White's not going to need a prince. Which is fine. Right now, I've already told you his name before. Can you tell me the name of Snow White's prince?
Florence.
Nope. That is the place.
Oh,
that is Italy.
It's Fernandez.
Nope.
It starts with an F. I swear to God.
It does.
Foster.
No.
Florence Foster.
No.
I don't know.
Ferdinand.
Oh, okay.
Prince Ferdinand, who is in 5.5 minutes of the 1 hour and 23-minute runtime of Snow White.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's so important to the plot. How dare they not put a prince at all in the new Snow White movie when he's in the movie for 5 minutes? Who cares about him? Nobody knows his name. Nobody cares about him. He's not even there. He's only there to kiss her to wake her up. They can write around that for sure. And so people are getting onto Rachel because she's like on that little D23 red carpet interview. She's like, she's not going to be dreaming about like true love. She's going to be dreaming about being the leader that she like wants to be, which is fine. It's literally fine and okay for that to be the plot of the movie. And then there's some sort of separate interview with like a pink background with Rachel and Gal Gadot, and Rachel's talking about how the Snow White's terrifying adventures ride at Disneyland scared her as a kid, which is valid. And also how
that ride scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Exactly. It's not even there anymore.
The old version of the Evil Queen.
Yeah. She's like
as a child scared me. I was very easily scared.
Snow White
there
is
was a storybook
movie.
in my library as a kid that freaked me out. One time I put it up to my face to try and face my fears, and it freaked me out.
Snow White is a scary movie. The scene where she's in the forest scene, that's scary.
Wait,
all the eyes.
Continue. Is there an issue with her saying it's scary?
Yes. So she says that the ride really scared her as a kid.
Who said this?
Rachel.
Okay.
Our Snow White.
Yes.
Said that the ride, Snow White's Terrifying Adventures, scared her as a kid.
Correct.
And then she's like,
the
ride is called Snow White's Terrifying Adventures. That's not something that's appealing for a kid. Which it's not. Why would you want to take your kid on something that's called Terrifying Adventures? No, sorry. I don't want to give my kid nightmares. And then also, she was like, I watched the movie once when I was younger, and it scared me bad. So I just never revisited it until 16 years later. Which is fine. That's so valid. I've done that with the movie Anastasia. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. Rasputin? Oh yeah. But then I watched it like 2 years ago with my friends. Now I love it. I love the movie. I love the soundtrack. Great movie, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Everybody has a movie that scared them as a kid. The opening scene in Aladdin, couldn't watch it. Had to have a parent fast forward through it. That guy was creepy.
He was.
I'm shocked that Maleficent didn't scare me as a kid. Because Sleeping Beauty was like my favorite Disney princess movie.
As a kid.
It didn't creep me out, so I'm really shocked. But
Pretty much everything I watched that was moderately intense from the age of 3 to 5 creeped me out.
people, I know, because you're...
Then I love Darth Vader, which is weird. People were
you're
like,
just
"Oh,
so
I was
precious."
scared of Vader." I was like, never mind. Go ahead.
So people are taking her being like, the movie scared me when I was young, so I didn't watch it again until 16 years later. People are taking that and being like, she hates the movie. She hates Snow White. Why did she take the role? Blah, 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 blah. They're like, she keeps saying she hates the movie. And I'm like, she's nowhere anywhere saying she hates the movie. Not at all. She's saying the movie scared her, so she never bothered to revisit it, which is fine and valid. Totally fine and valid. People are taking her on the red carpet being like, Snow White's not going to need a prince. People are stitching that left and right and being like, why are we trying to tell women that it's not okay to dream of true love or to dream of wanting like a man? Like, you can still be like feminine and like be a feminist and be like a girl boss and still want a man. And I'm like, no one's saying you can't be. If you want to watch something that encourages that like vibes and stuff, go watch Bridgerton or something. That's totally fine. But maybe if we're doing a retelling of a Disney princess movie for which is a target is the younger audience, maybe it's okay if we're doing like, hey, Snow White's gonna be doing her own girl boss thing.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I've seen most clips not regarding any of the what am I saying? I've seen a few of the ones people talking about like how it's her role as a woman. Well, I don't. You've touched on that. The things I've seen are more so that she's disrespecting a classic, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've also seen that.
A few things. Number one, I don't know why people are so up in arms about it, because the movie obviously is historic. It's the first full-length, feature animated film. But I don't know. I don't hear people getting mad when people talk about Pinocchio, which came out a few years after.
Yeah.
Or, getting mad when people bash Sleeping Beauty, which came out in 1954. It's interesting to me that people are acting like you have to really, put into perspective how much this movie is. It's like, I have said for the longest time, the original Snow White is not very rewatchable.
No.
It's a pretty boring, slow-paced movie. It's before Disney really found its footing in animation.
Yeah.
And there's not much of a draw to go back to it. Honestly, the plot is almost non-existent. It's basically like super quick movie of Snow White go out into the forest singing, and then there's like this ending with and then boom, it's over. It's like there's not much to work off of anyway. I don't know why people care so much or act like they care so much about Snow White. I don't think anyone cares about it.
Snow White.
I don't.
They don't care about Snow White.
I don't.
No, it's not offensive at all.
Care. I've seen the movie. I obviously acknowledge its historic, value and stuff, but I don't ever see myself watching it probably again.
Yeah, nobody cares about Snow White. All of a sudden, people are acting
I've never heard it in anyone's top 10 Disney movies.
People are acting like they care about Snow White so bad. I watch Disney princess movies all the time.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll just get into these little moods where I just put on Disney princess movies on repeat, and it's rare if I throw Snow White into the mix.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it maybe recently, but
if you asked most people their top 5 Disney princess movies, Snow White's not sniffing it.
No one has ever cared about Snow White until now, and quite frankly, if you want my very honest opinion, Chris, they're only acting like they care about Snow White because they want to target Rachel. For some reason, something about Rachel just makes people like really, really angry anytime she opens her mouth. And maybe it's because like she's literally Brie Larson, like Jennifer Lawrence coded in the way that Brie Larson and Jennifer Lawrence also got ridiculous amounts of hate in their prime for sure. When they just like speak, they're very candid. As somebody who gets her words misconstrued a lot because of her tone of voice when she doesn't mean to, I will defend Rachel till I die. Like, people that are just blunt, very dry sense of humor, like Brie Larson, Jennifer Lawrence, Rachel Zegler, for some reason in the media get called things like bratty or full of themselves or like egotistical or whatever, and it's like they're literally just like they're like just making jokes. Like they're just talking. Because they're not like super soft spoken and super, super kind, delicate little flowers. People get so mad when they speak. we've seen it happen before, and we're seeing it happen again, and it's just crazy. And people are using this as an excuse to crap on the casting of Rachel as Snow White.
Yeah.
They're like, she doesn't like Snow White. She doesn't deserve to be Snow White because she doesn't care about the character. So many people don't care about the characters they play. I don't like. Sorry to break this glass wall for you, this rose-colored glass for you. 9 out of 10 people do not care about the characters they play.
Yeah, it's
They
fair.
don't.
And I was gonna say, no one really. The one point I will agree with, it's not on any critique of her, but just in general, is like because no one really cares about Snow White. No one really cares about a remake, regardless of who's in the cast. Like I will watch the trailer and put out a reaction and be like, I'll tune in and stuff. But no one's out here clamoring for a Snow White live action remake, and that's like a fair point. The only thing I've seen where it's like, why are they? It should be on Disney, not her though. Like, why are they remaking? They're remaking it because they're gonna make
people
money.
Are getting
Or
mad
they
at
think
her.
They are.
People are getting mad at her for when she's like, in this movie, Snow White's not gonna need a prince. She's gonna be dreaming about becoming a leader. People are like, screw you, Rachel Zegler, for saying that. Did Rachel write the movie? No. You know who's a co-writer of the movie? Greta Gerwig. I think if more people knew that, they would fucking calm down a little bit, because Greta Gerwig is obviously fantastic and she writes a lot of really great like feministic movies. Barbie, Little Women, like Lady Bird. She's great. She's great in what she does. Granted, that's more, she's a director. I don't know if she does any of the writing for those movies, but regardless,
She's a writer.
She's got a nice touch on things.
Yeah.
So the fact that Greta Gerwig has even a finger on this project has me not stressed at all. I think it'll be fine. It'll be great. And I really wholeheartedly think that a lot of people's issues with the Snow White movie stem from their hatred of Rachel prior to the movie. I think if we found a carbon copy of what a live action Snow White would look like you took cartoon Snow White and put her into a machine and made her a real life person, so carbon copy looked exactly like Snow White to a T. If she went and said the exact same things that Rachel Zegler is saying, I don't think anyone would have a problem with it. People have a problem with it because of the way Rachel Zegler looks. But they won't say that. Some of them are saying it. A lot of people just are taking this as an opportunity to make fun of her looks and her skin tone, which is exactly what people did with Halle Bailey, which is just gross. And then, on top of that, people on Twitter are now using Halle Bailey against Rachel, using pictures of her as Little Mermaid and being like, this is the only live action Disney princess as far as I'm concerned. Rachel Zegler wishes that she could be what Halle Bailey is or whatever, when Halle and Rachel are friends. Like, they support each other in, like, whenever they're talking about Disney princesses, they normally talk about the other person, because they both have been going through getting attacked for their looks when they're playing a Disney princess that they don't actually, like, they don't look like the cartoon version of, because people are awful.
Yeah.
So the fact that people are on the internet trying to use Halle against Rachel is also gross. The whole situation is just gross. It makes me mad because Rachel Zegler is so sweet. And people just don't get that about her for some reason. They think that she's some awful person. And I'm like, watch one of her YouTube videos. Watch one YouTube video of Rachel Zegler and you will see that she is a sweet, precious musical theater girl and she must be protected. Okay.
Fair.
And people are trying to come at the thing she said on the picket line where she's like, if I'm going to stand in the dress of an iconic Disney princess for 18 hours, then I deserve all the residuals when that movie's on streaming. And people are acting like she shot someone. People are acting like she shot someone in between the eyebrows live on camera.
Yeah. People are crazy about what they get mad over.
When it's just like, she didn't say anything wrong. Because guess what? If she's getting her residuals, then everyone else in the movie is getting their residuals. That's how that works. That's why you get the more popular actors to go on the picket lines to help with the strikes. Because if they can get their residuals, then everybody gets their residuals. That's how it works. And people take that video and they're like, Rachel is so selfish, only thinking about herself. And I'm like, really? Because if you looked at her Twitter, she has like so many Twitter threads talking about like the lower level people in the movie business that like the strikes are affecting and how they're affecting them and stuff.
Yeah.
Long story short, I love Rachel Zegler, and if I keep seeing a bunch of mutuals like repost stuff of shitting on her, and it's just making me really mad. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit.
Fair.
And if you're watching this and you have negative thoughts about Rachel Zegler, I implore you to rethink them. If you're a girl and you're having negative thoughts about Rachel Zegler, like you see her talking and your first instinct is to go like, oh, what a bitch. Dial it back a little bit. Go rewatch the Barbie movie or something. Like, your first instinct when a woman talks shouldn't be, oh, she sucks. Your first instinct should be maybe like, okay, wait, what does she mean? What does she mean with the words that she's saying? Oh, she means this, this, and this. She just only had 2 seconds on a red carpet to communicate those words. It's not a big deal. She got it. I just think everyone needs to leave her alone.
There you have it.
And I'm excited for Snow White.
Yeah.
I also think it's important for people to know that it's Snow White. It's not Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's a retelling. It's not a remake, which is very important. I think a lot of people are not grasping that.
It'll still be classified as a live action remake because it is Snow White.
It will be
just like Cruella and
Maleficent is classified as a live action remake, but I'm saying it's story wise, it's a retelling. They're like telling it without the dwarves and without the prince and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what they do. But
yeah, I feel like it'll have a trailer.
Maybe soon.
I don't know. Maybe by the end of the year.
They gotta let the hate for it die down first.
It's gonna get hated on no matter what. Every Disney live action remake trailer does. Some rightfully so, like The Lion King. So
yeah, I posted that clip today.
But that might conclude the Triple D.
Yes, that does. Sorry for my little Rachel Zegler rant. That last section was really honestly just for me. I didn't expect you to.
I wasn't going to
chime in all that much. That was mostly for me to have a little bit of a rant for myself. But yeah, that was a good episode. Lots of pop culture moments talked about. Let us know your thoughts on the respective Ds of the podcast. DC/Blue Beetle.
Dungeons and Dragons Daredevil. No.
if you are a Percy Jackson fan, let me know if you watched the trailer. Sorry, I had to burp. And your thoughts on it. Your thoughts on it. Let us know if you have any thoughts about Rachel Zegler and Snow White and stuff, but try to keep them positive. I probably will delete them if you say anything super negative about her because she doesn't deserve that energy. And also, one extra shout out to Daniel Sharman because I love him. And everyone should watch Medici. If you guys are like any sort of period piece or realistic thing or whatever, go ahead and watch Medici. It's great. Really good acting.
I think I'm about over people telling me to watch shows. This has nothing to do with you, but like my whole entire life, my TV watch list is going to be so big that it's like, okay, I might as well just not watch anything. And
you never watch TV though.
When was
the last time
I
you?
do.
When was
today. I watched an episode of TV today and
what
last night. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's different.
How? It's a sitcom.
It's old.
When did Medici come out?
20.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It still comes on TV.
2018?
It still comes on TV.
2018. I think.
Another random call.
I'm telling you, I've gotten like 20 today.
That is shady. That is shady.
So many, Chris. It's not even funny.
That's shady.
That's why I had to call my mom. I was scared.
Yeah. No need to be scared.
I just didn't know if I like did something. This plus my credit card recently was getting like declined.
What do I know?
I wish I could hire somebody just to deal with anything that revolves being an adult. Okay, long story short though, that concludes this podcast episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again, technically, for 1,000 subs on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because
we haven't talked about that at all because we haven't.
This is coming out after that episode. But thank you. Yeah, wouldn't it? Unless you want the 1,000 one to go out next week.
I honestly thought that was the plan, but it doesn't matter either way.
Oh.
You've seen this or you haven't.
Either you've seen the 1K episode or you haven't. So
yeah.
And if you haven't, look out for it. If you
We're
have,
not
go watch it.
Like some people are so ungrateful to be alive. We're not like that. We are appreciative because we have a whole entire episode dedicated to it, right?
Maybe we'll put it out after this one.
We're about to go have our 5th D dinner.
So true.
That was a good way to end this. Everyone, thank you as always.
Thank you for watching.
And most importantly, stay
unusual. I normally do it, so I felt really weird.
We had to do it together that time.
All right.